Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Teo here, back with more Ever17. Midnight snuck up on me. Everyone was already fast asleep. Some were snoring. For us, the situation wasn't getting any better, but at least it wasn't getting any worse. It was better than that we just sleep to prepare for what might come. If only I could. Can't sleep! If anyone were awake, they would see me bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. How could I be so tired but not be able to sleep? Man, story of my life. I started wondering about my body. Oh well. I took a walk to get my mind off of things. Splash. I saw the corridor was covered in water as I quietly slipped out of the room. It's freezing! The ocean water flowing into this room was colder than usual, maybe because it was evening. Damn, now I'm even more awake. I continued down the road, my heavily soaked shoes weighing me down with each step. Only the sound of my damp shoes echoed through the night. I didn't encounter a soul as I walked down the corridor. I feel like at some point you just give up on shoes, right? Like, if literally all the corridors have, like, ankle-deep water in them, I feel like at some point that, like, wearing shoes is just not worth it. Like, you just give up and go barefoot everywhere. Nobody had come to get us. But I decided not to let it get me down. We were still alive. We'd survived up until now, and we would live for the foreseeable future. I thought to myself that anyone who had made it this far would survive. Yeah, we'll make it. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, the main risk of dying comes from the facility collapsing, right? And it's been established that that's happening not only in the future, but in the foreseeable future, right? Like, he says they're gonna be fine for the foreseeable future, but that's, like, not the case, right? In the foreseeable future, the facility collapses and they all die. We'll make it. As I nodded to myself, I turned a corner in the corridor. Was this a dead end? Oh, hey, it's Heimel again. Hello, Heimel. It seemed like I had reached the end of the floor. I turned around and headed back along the passageway. No, go in the elevator, go in the elevator. I want to find out what it does. Oh, good. There you are, Takeshi. I was looking for you. What do you mean looking for him? Don't you have, like, a thing that finds heat signatures or something? I mean, I recognize that it's a turn of phrase and I'm being needlessly pedantic, but being needlessly pedantic is like 90% of what I do with my life. It's like, essentially my modus operandi. Hey, what's wrong? Hello? No. Sora. Yes? Don't scare me like that, Sora. I was surprised. For an instant, I had stood there frozen. Because the moment Sora had appeared around the corner, she and I had been face to face. We were so close, it seemed like our noses overlapped. I mean, that's a thing you can do though, right? Hologram? Hologram? I'm starting to sound like those, the seagulls from Finding Nemo. Mine? Hologram? Hologram? Realizing this, I took 3 steps backward. I could feel my heart pounding. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to get so close to you. Sora's cheeks turned a soft red. Oh, did I look strange? No, don't worry about it. Beautiful as always. Oh, well, thank you. It's just, I'm a little embarrassed. Huh? I felt like I just blurted out something ridiculous. But Sora had smiled when I said it, so maybe it was okay. You smooth player, you. I tried to calm myself down. Well, anyway, everyone is still sound asleep, so I haven't told anyone, but we're all gonna die. As she said that, her face suddenly changed. Huh? What? A little while ago, Tsugumi was tossing and turning in bed, so I dispatched the medical wagon to keep her still. Really? Yes, I was surprised. She was seriously hurt, you know, and still. Hey, she should wake up soon, don't you think? Yes, I think she may soon regain consciousness. Well, she shouldn't be tossing and turning like that. She'll reopen her wounds. Yes, actually, that's why... Hey, we can't let that happen. Just let her finish a bloody sentence, dude. That's it. I'll go and check on her. Takeshi! I just left her standing there, calling after me. One would think that you would want to be fully debriefed on the situation before you go and, you know, handle a person in medically sensitive condition. I flew up the stairs as fast as I could and sprinted down the corridor. I arrived in front of the infirmary on the 2nd floor. I poked the button to open the door, but it seemed to take forever. The door opened slowly and quietly. Tsugumi was lying there in a bed in the back of the room. I walked slowly over to her, and sat down on the bed next to hers. I could hear a computer working over at the other end of the room, collecting data on her pulse and blood pressure. The data told us the most important thing. She was still alive. However, Tsugumi was still unconscious. Had she really turned in her sleep? Or would she continue to sleep like this? At that moment, her fingers began to twitch. Ah, her eyes opened. I wonder what I should do. What should I say? Where to begin? Hey, you're not dead! But she awoke before I could decide. Good morning. That was all I could say. I hadn't thought of what to say beyond that. What time is it now? I'm not sure. Some use you are. I pulled my PDA from my pocket and checked the time. It's May 4th, 1:42 a.m. Really? Tsugumi appeared weak as she slightly moved her body. How are you feeling? That's a stupid question. I'm just asking. Tell me how you're feeling. Awful. My whole body hurts. I feel terrible. Oh. Tsugumi lifted her hand up to her face, opening and closing it slowly. She still couldn't move much. How's the injury? Does it hurt? You may still be under a bit of anesthesia. Injury? Anesthesia? Hey, you didn't forget, did you? Tsugumi's eyes wandered about the room, to the ceiling, and the sheets, a cast on her leg. Oh, right, I remember. I remember now, Tsugumi tried to get up, but noticing the various IV cords snaking up her arm, she frowned. She was alive. She was injured, but still breathing. Her life had been saved, and for that I was grateful. But it was my fault. I was the one who caused her injury. We're supposed to apologize, right? Like, it seems like the sensible thing to do. Okay, yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted to tell her how I felt. Why are you apologizing? It was my fault you were injured. Because I was careless, you ended up getting hurt. It was my fault. And that's why I'm sorry. And what's more, you protected Coco. You made sure she didn't get hurt. I don't know how to thank you. I lowered my head. But Tsugumi's face soured. She was glaring at me. Who could have, predicted that response? Don't misunderstand. Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. I was injured, but it wasn't because I sacrificed myself for Coco's safety. Tsugumi sighed heavily. It's just that I wanted to die. Oh, that's morbid. That's not how I thought this conversation was going to go at all. What? How come you had to save me? If you left me alone, I could have finally died. What? I jumped up from the bed, shaking my fist furiously. What the hell did you just say? What do you mean you could have finally died? That's what I said, right? I wanted to die. Tsugumi gazed at me, narrowing her eyes. She was quiet. I gazed back. I could tell by the look in her eye that she wasn't joking. I got it. Turning away from Tsugumi, I blurted out something. Well then, Tsugumi, how come you helped Coco? No, better yet, how come you went to repair the warehouse? You wanted to die? Well, then you didn't really have to worry about us now, did you? You shouldn't have cared at all if we'd all died. Right? Or wrong? Tsugumi's mouth didn't move, neither did the rest of her body. She just laid there. You know, I'm glad I saved you, but I just stopped thinking that saving you was a good idea. After that, I had nothing more to say. I rose to my feet and left the room. Takeshi, what happened? Where's Tsugumi? Again, Sora was waiting for me. She looked concerned. Oh, her? Yeah, she's fine. She's pretty quiet. I'm no doctor, but I think she'll be back on her feet soon enough. Besides, she doesn't look like she's dying. I think we can all relax. What, Sora simply blinked at me, and then her eyes narrowed sadly. You shouldn't talk like that, Takeshi. Huh? Tsugumi is very hurt, Takeshi. She needs to rest more than anything, you know. Was that right? I'd almost forgotten. No matter how badly she had treated me, Tsugumi would still be bedridden for months recovering. You're right. I'm sorry. That came out a little harsh. You had a fight with Tsugumi, didn't you? Her body stiffened as she asked. No, I wouldn't say that. I was just disappointed with her. Disappointed? Yeah. There was no way I could tell Sora that what Tsugumi had just said to me. I still couldn't accept that she would say such a thing. Never mind. Just forget it. It's just that I guess I'm still upset at myself. It was my fault Tsugumi got hurt. You know, I don't know what to say. She can be... Damn it! Takeshi, please don't worry about it. Sora smiled softly. It was no one's fault that Tsugumi got injured. The situation here at Limu is not anyone's fault. I mean... It's probably someone's fault. It was you who told me that. Yeah, but if you're listening to Takeshi for, like, in, like, any sort of serious capacity, then you may want to reevaluate your, what's the word I'm looking for? Analytical capabilities. Like, check your sources, kids. Takeshi, I'm not sure what Tsugumi told you. All I know is that you saved her, and for that I'm grateful. I'm just so happy that she was saved. Sora produced a bright smile. Yeah, I suppose. I suppose I should be happy, huh? Yeah. I couldn't help but laugh along with her. It broke the tension. I embarrassedly scratched the tip of my nose. You know, Tsugumi was in a really bad mood for some reason. Maybe she just didn't want to see my face. And who can blame her, really? Yeah, that was probably it. First she got hurt, and the operations. She must have been upset about that. Maybe that was all there was to it. No, I don't think that's the case. Even if it wasn't that, I didn't want this to drag on forever. I'd helped Tsugumi, and she was recovering. It was as simple as that. I was happy with that. And there was Sora smiling in front of me. Hey, Sora, are you busy right now? What? No, not really, but... Takeshi, are you sure you don't need some more rest? No, I'm fine. I already tried to sleep, but I couldn't, which is why I went for a walk. Let's make our way over to the dolphin carousel. We can talk. I turned to her and slowly reached out my open hand. Right! Sora brought her hand up and placed it on mine. And then, we were off, riding the dolphins on the merry-go-round. Sora turned on the power to the merry-go-round and got on before quickly taking off. I rode on the dolphin next to her. The ride pulsated with vibrant colors as it revolved around the space. I hadn't ridden a carousel since my childhood, but I didn't feel strange about it. In fact, it was fun. My heart skipped a few beats. Thank you. I'm sorry? Thank you, Sora, for your help. My help? Just keep it at that. Thank you. No, I should be the one thanking you. You helped me so much. Tsugumi, Tanaka, Koko, the kid. I'm in debt to everyone. In debt? Lately, I feel like I've gained a new perspective on human life. Wait, is that the motive for, like, trapping everyone down here? There's no way. It wouldn't make sense to, like, structure the final route around Koko if the, like... if the motive behind the, Saboteur is, like, improving Sora's AI by, like, putting it in contact with humans in compromising situations. That would be super funny, though. Like, I don't think that's the case. It doesn't... It's not, like, really supported by anything, but that would be super funny. Everyone holds their ground. They fight and try to figure out ways to survive. In all the time that I've spent here at Limu, I've not ever really been with people. Yeah. It was this microcosm, day after day of the same scenery. Nothing changed, nothing happened. I did not care what happened to the people here. But now I'm grateful I've met with this opportunity. And I'm happy that even at this moment, despite what happened in this dour situation... Dour? Dur? I don't know how to pronounce that word. People are still striving to live. Again, like, when it's foreign languages, I feel like I have an excuse there, but when it's English, I, like, a little bit embarrassed. Come on, everybody. Believe in tomorrow so you can live today. Yeah? Oh, I'm sorry. Sora shrugged, embarrassed. I'm always saying things I should not. I didn't mean to gush. I'm sorry, really. It was lacking refinement. No, it's fine. I laughed it off, waving my hand to show her it didn't matter. You never saw Limu when it was empty. From the time you came to Limu and started working, there have always been people. It's natural that there were things you didn't know, that you had doubts and made mistakes. I suppose you're right. Don't worry about it. It would be great if we could ensure that everyone has an escape route, but even the communications are still... It's alright. I know it's difficult. We're not expecting the impossible. We haven't even found a safe route out of here. Rather than us looking for an escape route haphazardly, I think it would be best to wait for help. Yes, I think you're right. Sora let out a soft sigh and smiled. Wait, that doesn't make any sense, though. Like, sure, haphazardly is one thing, but I feel like there's a healthy middle ground where you're still actively taking steps towards advancing your ability to leave the facility, while not, like, actively putting yourself in danger, right? Like, there's one end of the spectrum, you can't see my hands, but, like, one of them's over here on the left, and it's, like, the end of the spectrum where you do nothing and you just wait for help to come, and the other end of the spectrum is, like, on the right where you, I don't know, go to really degenerate, ends to try and escape on your own, right? Because you don't want to wait for help. Where you, like, I don't know, go swimming out the side and hope you spontaneously learn how to be a deep water diver or something, I don't know. That one's over on the right. I'm motioning with my hand here. But like, I feel like in the middle somewhere, there's like a line that you can take where you're advancing your ability to get out without actively putting yourself in danger. But what do I know? I'm just a armchair escapist? Escapee? Anyhow, Sora let out a soft sigh and smiled. So Takeshi, if you do make it out of here, what is it you want to do first? Eat something that isn't a chicken sandwich. Well, I know that I want to eat something other than a kiosk sandwich. Oh my god, that was actually what he said. I'm so good at this game. There's a great restaurant close to my home. It's run by a nice old lady. She gets along with everyone. She's got a round face, kind of like a classic car. What? I don't know if I've ever heard somebody's face compared with a car. This might be the first time. A classic car? You mean like a VW Beetle? Right, just like that Beetle. Then Miss Beetle makes a mean bowl of miso ramen. I wonder how she's doing right now. You're funny. You get out of this place and the first person you want to see is an old woman. Oh? Is that weird? No, not really. I mean, he doesn't want to see the old woman, right? He wants to see the bowl of miso ramen. Isn't there a girl waiting for you back home? Ah, smooth. Very subtle, very subtle. We're supposed to say no, right? Oh, it doesn't matter? Interesting. Well, we're gonna save just in case. I'm gonna say no. The ship is sailing. So yeah, to answer your question, no one's waiting for me out there. We broke up a long time ago. And it was a clean break, if you know what I mean. I see, you've been in love before. I wouldn't put it that way. Well, our relationship wasn't your perfect love story. But I have been in love. Wait, that's literally the opposite of what you just said. Wow, that's great, Takeshi. Sora smiled slightly. Hey, stop teasing me. You're making me embarrassed. But it's really fantastic. I'm pretty sure my face was as red as a boiled crab by then. And imagining it only made it worse, that's for sure. Well, I've never been... What? I've never what? Can you not tell by context? Never had that experience. What experience? Oh my god, Takeshi. Oh my god, why are you doing this to my brain? Tell me this, what is love? Sora suddenly put on a serious face. I want to know. What is love? Tell me how, its method, its meaning, its purpose. Well? Why do you love? How does one go about loving? Sora's firing off one question after another. And they didn't seem to me like easy questions to answer. Takeshi, you are someone who has loved. Here it comes. What is love? What is love? Can you explain it and help me understand it? I can explain it, definitely. 100%. Alright, here comes an explanation. I agreed to give explaining it a shot. Okay, what definitions does your database give for love? You better not be preparing a punchline about tennis. That would be pretty funny. What, am I that transparent? Wait, that's seriously what he was doing? Oh my god, you're my hero, Takeshi? Yes, that's about as much of a cliche as you can get. You're pretty hard to please. I took a deep breath. Alright, let's try this again. Right now the score is love 15. God damn it. I thought I said no tennis jokes. What, you're serious? Oh my god, Takeshi, why do you do this to my brain? I'm like, constantly torn between loving and hating this guy. Like, either he's an irredeemable idiot, or he's a lovable doofus, and I'm not sure. Like, it could very easily go either way. And in fact, he seems to be flip-flopping at a fairly extraordinary rate. Very impressive, your AI. Yes, that's about as much of a cliche as you can get. Alright, get ready. Okay, give me another meaning for love. As in an act or a feeling? Yeah, that's right. Act is in doing something, correct? Those are all the definitions that I have in my database. Takeshi, can you please answer my original question? Okay, there's one more meaning for love. Give me a second to explain it. Think. Can you give me a minute to think? Yes, 1 minute. I took a deep breath. My heart was pounding. 1 minute has expired. What, already? Sorry, give me 5 more minutes. Oh my god, Takeshi. Again, not sure if he's, like, irredeemable or lovable. There's a very thin line that he's straddling. No, I need 10 minutes. Please? No. I need more time. Much more time. There was no simple way to explain it to her. Really? Fine then. Sora waited impatiently. Alright, I'll try to answer my own question. Ah, you're off the hook, Takeshi. Let me express my notion of love. Sora began to speak. Let us imagine a flower. Can a flower love? It seems to me that it cannot. At least from the perspective of human beings, flowers don't act in a way that can be viewed as love. What about animals? Do they love? They may love, they may not. Some animals seem to act out of love. We have observed this to an extent. But perhaps animals do not understand the true meaning of love. It's unclear whether it's the same as a human definition of love. Humans love? Yes, I believe so. Love is one of those mysterious things that people are programmed to do. I mean, it's not that mysterious, right? Like, I can't remember the fancy scientific word for it. But, like, monogamous partnerships are ideal because then you have, like, 2 parents both investing a lot of resources in a small number of children, right? Like, presumably that's the biological impetus here. That seems not that mysterious. One of its functions is reproduction. That appears to be a function independent of love. Stop. But Sora continued to speak, so I cut my hand over her mouth. That doesn't work. You can't... Hologram? Hologram? I put my hand over her mouth, but I couldn't feel her lips. Hey, hold up, slow down. I couldn't tell if her lips were warm or not. That's because she doesn't have any. It's because she's not really there. Hologram? Hologram? It somehow felt as if something were there, but then again, maybe it was my imagination. I assume it's the second one. I felt, trying to see if there was some sort of warm feeling. Let's see. Let me tell you what I think. Why does a rose bloom? Why does a canary sing? Biological impetus and biological impetus. It blooms, I don't know enough about flower reproduction to know why flowers bloom, but like canaries sing to like signal to potential mates, right? I have a very unromantic view on reality. I'm willing to concede that point. Sora just stood there blinking at me. Her eyes were fixed on me. Love is not rational. The way I described it, it's very rational. It's not something you try to explain through logic. Oh, oops, my bad. It's something that's planted in the depths of your heart and steadily blossoms into something beautiful. If something goes wrong, the flower might wilt and die. But if the love is true, it may bear amazing fruit. There's no rhyme or reason to the process of love. Even if you do find reason in it, love isn't an emotion that you can control easily. Love is something that visits like wakefulness after a slumber. Wow. He's getting real poetic here. Just as we awake in the morning to begin our day, we are put in this earth for the purpose of love. To live is to love. To ask what is the meaning of love is to ask what is the meaning of life. I slowly removed my hand from her lips. My hand was slightly sweaty and warm. I didn't need to know that. Sora, what do you think of my explanation? I might have borrowed bits and pieces from elsewhere, but I don't think it's all wrong. No, actually, I believe it is right. Did you understand what I said, Sora? Did you understand what you said? Sora nodded silently. Roses are born to blossom. Canaries are born to sing. Humans are born to love. I think that's a beautiful way of thinking. A smile appeared on her lips. However, even if a rose is born to bloom, I don't believe that a rose knows this. And I don't believe a canary believes its purpose to sing. But from the eyes of a human, it might appear that the only purpose of a rose is to blossom. Similarly, from the eyes of a human, it might appear that the only purpose of a canary is to sing. It would appear that humans are probably the same. I imagine that many people don't believe that they're living for the purpose of loving. But from my perspective, I believe they are mistaken. It would seem to me that people only live to love. It could be that that is how things are. The movements of the dolphins gradually began to slow. The music faded to a stop as the dolphin carousel continued to slow. Oh, is this it? I dismounted the dolphin and stood on the carousel. Wish it could have ridden just a little bit longer. That was fun. Let's come ride these dolphins again sometime. That was a pretty deep conversation we just had. Sora? Sora was still riding her dolphin, not moving. What's wrong, Sora? Sora looked up absently. But there was nothing in the air where she was looking. Only the sprawling, dome-like ceiling of... Dome-line ceiling of the... Dome-like? Dome-line? Anyway. Ceiling of the dolphin carousel extending in all directions. Sora? Hey, Takeshi. Sora was looking up into the empty sky. Why was I created? What is my purpose? With the music stopped, the room was quiet. Different colored lights played off of the merry-go-round. The light reflected a hint of sadness off of Sora's face. I was just... curious about it. Sora laughed as if nothing had happened, got off her dolphin and came and stood next to me. I didn't know what to say. What was her purpose? At that point, I couldn't find an answer to that question. All I could do was turn my back to the dolphins and head toward the dark exit. As I did, I looked at the ceiling, and there was no sky. It's really hard to wake up after you've gone back to sleep. And when I couldn't get up, I'd get irritated. The reason I couldn't sleep was beyond me. I probably can't sleep because I'm so caught up in not being able to sleep. A vicious cycle. Man, this is really bad. I was still groggy, but thankfully I wasn't so sleepy it was driving me crazy. I opened and closed my hand. My body seemed to be in pretty good shape. I shook my head a little. I slapped my cheeks. Then I breathed in a deep rush of cold air, breathed it out, and gradually cleared my head. Mustering up my strength, I jumped out of bed. I put the voice alternator back in my ears. About time I started cooking breakfast for you all. But when I looked around, no one's here? The conference room was empty. Hold up, what time is it? I checked my PDA display anxiously. It was just shy of 9 a.m. So you mean like a quasi-reasonable hour for people to wake up? You're so late! You was standing guard in front of the kiosk. The kid, Coco, and people were sitting and waiting. Late. Takeshi, you're a total mess. Yu's cheeks looked a bit swollen. Oh, sorry, my bad. I've been waiting forever. I'm starving. Wait, so they said they were like waking up at like 5 or 6, right? Does that mean they've just been like sitting here for 3 hours waiting for Takeshi to wake up? Dear God. How helpless are you people? Like, it's a chicken sandwich, it's not rocket surgery. I'm starving. Look, if my belly actually sticks to my spine, I'm holding you personally responsible. Dear Lord. Remember me when I waste away to almost nothing and am blown away by the wind across the Pacific. You're worried about being blown away by the wind? I think it'd probably take a hurricane to carry you off. You're a real gentleman, Takeshi. Yu's shoulders sagged for some reason. Can't believe you guys haven't eaten yet. I looked around at them. Well, you see, we did try. Oh my God, you tried? I assumed it was just laziness, but it's like gross incompetence? I'd say we tried a little too hard. Oof! They looked at one another with a mix of conflicting expressions. I cocked my head quizzically at them and went around into the kiosk's kitchen. What's going on here? There was an impossibly delicious smell, and a blackened, charred piece of fried tuna. Red, black, green, everything was splattered with a mysterious fluid. Sandwich buns were colorful and sticky. The lettuce that normally went into the chicken sandwiches had been diced. I'd never seen such a shocking kitchen. What on earth happened here? We tried dividing up the work. Hey, Takepyon, why don't you try some too? Hey, wait. Is this food? You can actually eat this? Yep. Hey kid, you serious? Well, sort of. Sort of. I don't exactly know if it'll taste good, but... Why did you stop talking? Now, let's not be critical. Apparently there had been a number of reasons why I was in charge of cooking. Alrighty then. Time for a post-meal break? They all trooped over to the rest area. I'd safely finished eating, but my stomach was still growling. Would I be okay? Doing the dishes was an unpleasant job, but with everyone's cooperation we got the ordeal over and done with. Hey, Takepyon. I took Tsugumi's sandwich over to her. Oh, thanks. I patted Coco's head. Before I tackled the cleanup, I had picked out some decent sandwiches and had Coco take them over. Whether the still recovering Tsugumi would actually eat them was another story. Hey Coco, was Tsugumi eating alright? Yeah, she said she was actually pretty hungry. I think she ate 3. Well, I guess she's gotten well enough to eat then. She's getting better pretty fast, don't you think? Yeah. That's Tsugumi. The night before, she'd said she wanted to die. Tsugumi was probably always just pretending to be tough. Distancing people by saying awful things was one of her bad habits. If she were eating properly, it must be proof that she wanted to live. Not necessarily. As long as she recovered completely, there would be no more problems. Hey, it's a good thing. I felt my chest relax in relief. You just got a happy look on your face, Takepyon. Oh, really? You were really worrying about Tsugumi, huh? Feeling so transparent made me want to conceal the truth. No, it's not that. I was just thinking that those sandwiches were pretty good after all. Wow, really? No. Oh, good. Actually, I made your sandwich all by my very own self. You see, I used lots of my secret sauce. Mustard, mayo, horseradish. And then some salt and pepper, and a dab of soy sauce, and lots of butter. That sounds horrifying. Why would you do that to a perfectly good sandwich? And when it's all done, cinnamon and cardamom and turmeric and nutmeg and vanilla, all shaken together and poured. Oh, God. Like, the last line was bad. Like, the first line was, like, reasonable, like mayo, mustard, horseradish. Those are all things you could, like, put on a sandwich with a straight face. Salt and pepper, dab of soy sauce, lots of butter. It's, like, not ideal, but still edible. But, like, none of these things are things that I would put on a sandwich in, like, a million years. Like, it's a chicken sandwich, right? Like, who in their right mind puts cinnamon on a chicken sandwich? Good God. Or, like, nutmeg? That might not actually be bad. I don't actually remember what nutmeg tastes like. I have this vague sense of nutmeg is, like, a spice. And I've, like, eaten nutmeg in things before. But I don't have a strong sense of what nutmeg actually tastes like. I can't even remember if it's, like, sweet or savory or what have you. Like, I can't remember what nutmeg goes well with, rather. So nutmeg might actually be reasonable, I don't know. But contextually, I'm assuming it's not. But, like, vanilla, I don't know if there's, like, anything that you put vanilla on other than, like, baked goods. Like, you don't just put vanilla on things, right? Like, you put it in things, and then you bake them. I don't know. This seems highly suspect. And then, what was it again? Allspice and curry and hot sauce? Some tube of something Pee-Pee found. We used lots of that. And then we stuck the lettuce in between. Magnificent, right? And pretty, too. Well, if I hadn't tasted it, I might have been scared off. Wow, you mean it tasted okay? Well, maybe I should make the next meal, too. You've dug yourself into a corner, Takeshi. Congratulations. No, you don't have to do that. I'll keep doing the cooking. Just listening to her was making my gut ache. Gathering my wits, I went to the bench where you and the kid were sitting. Coco and Pee-Pee trotted along behind me. Hey you, where did Sora go? She went to go look again to see if she can find some clue to help us escape. From what she said, the sensors on the 3rd floor are working a little better. Did you see Sora, you? I cut in front of them. Oh, yeah, for a minute, before you came to the kiosk. I see. Did Sora say anything else? Did she seem different somehow? No, not really. Same as always. Okay. Well, that's good. Takeshi, did you do something to her? No, nothing. You're acting pretty suspicious. Why do you say, well, that's good? Not that I'm the type to hound you with questions or anything. So, what's the story, my dear Mr. Takeshi? She laughed and pretended to hold a mic to my face. Can you tell me how you're feeling right now? I don't care what happens, I'm not talking to you. This is reporter Yu Tanaka reporting live. She withdrew her invisible mic. Hey, that reminds me. The kid muttered, glancing at me. Apparently Takeshi sneaked out of his room in the middle of the night. Oh ho, relevant circumstantial evidence. This time the invisible mic was pointed at the kid. I thought maybe you were sleepwalking. But you ran up the emergency stairs, so... I went to sleep right after that, but it's been bothering me. What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. Takeshi? If you don't want to talk about it, don't worry. What? Are you talking about something fun? Woof, woof. All of their eyes were fixed on me. Bathing in their attention, there was no way for me to escape the mic. Alright, I'll confess. What is this? I was meeting Sora. I was just meeting Sora. I tried to be as honest as possible. Oh ho! Well, I went for a walk and ran into her. I was awake, so we jogged as White Stock together. It didn't sound like jogging, more like you were running. The sound really echoed. Well, you know Sora, she can run so fast, I had to hurry just to keep up. Forget fast, Sora can run? Let's not get into the details, kid. I believe you've been called on your bullshit, Takeshi. Ouch. I cuffed him on the head. Alright. Yeah, that's an invasion of privacy. Listen, you're the one that started this with your whole reporter act. Who, me? She stuck out her tongue. No one seemed inclined to question me further, so that solved that. Everyone milled around the rest area. I felt the energy drain out of me. I wasn't tense, but I wasn't relaxed either. Maybe I was just tired. Yeah, not sleeping will do that to you. I sat quietly, thinking. When I couldn't sleep, I had been pondering all sorts of things. About Tsugumi. And Sora. Sora made me think about all kinds of questions. What was love? What were people? What was the meaning of life? What was she herself? She was more worried about things than I was. I didn't know the answers. The stress of so many unknowns was starting to get to me. Which is why, hearing Yu's voice, I returned to Earth with a jolt. So many Greek myths have been handed down to us. Yu was standing in the middle of the room, apparently giving a lecture. The kid, Coco, and Peepee were sitting on the benches, listening obediently. You know, it's just occurred to me that, I don't really have a great meta-explanation for why there's a dog. It could just be that the dog is a dog, right? Sometimes what's that, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, sometimes a dog is just a dog. But, I feel like a dog is, weird enough to stick in the middle of a story. That, I feel like it probably is going to play some sort of role in the overarching something. I don't have any inkling of, what that could be. But, it feels out of the ordinary enough that it's probably relevant in some capacity. But then again, I might just be talking out of my ass. I do that a lot. Alright, I'm gonna get some water while I contemplate the nature of dog. Yeah, no, I got nothing. I ended up listening myself. You see that statue over there? It's rather a lovely piece. She turned around and pointed at the statue in the corner of the rest area. The beautiful statue and the sculptor who loved her. I'll tell you their story. Ahem. She gave a melodramatic cough. Then she turned back to the group and began gesturing and talking. Once upon a time, in a place called Cyprus, there was a young sculptor. His name was Pygmalion. He's been called the King of Cyprus. But in these myths, they tend to call anyone a king or a god, so we won't go there for a bit. Anyway, there was an excellent sculptor named Pygmalion, and then, his statues were incredible. They were so vital and full of life, they looked as though they might come to life any moment. But Pygmalion couldn't seem to get interested in ladies. The people around him wondered why a brilliant sculptor like him couldn't land a wife. But Pygmalion seemed only to care about making his statues. Then one day, he finished the nude figure of a woman. It was a wonderful piece, absolutely charming, and even he himself thought it might be his ultimate masterpiece. But as he looked on her beautiful, almost living face, he realized that she was naked and became embarrassed. He brought clothes for her and dressed her. And when it got dark, he was so besotted with her that he brought her food to eat, talked to her, and even slept next to her. Are you feeling quite alright, Pygmalion? Because you don't sound alright. You sound like a man who's just fallen in love with a statue. And we tend to frown upon that behavior here. Around these parts. It was the first time he'd ever experienced true love. Love for the statue he himself had created. Also, dear God, that's narcissistic. He poured all of the love he had into her. He believed that one day she would speak to him. And then they locked him up in a padded cell, because that's not how statues work. But in the meantime, he neglected his work. He forgot to eat and sleep, and Pygmalion began to waste away. People began to worry that he would die, so they prayed to the gods. And Pygmalion was agonizing as well. He was so sad to see her unable to speak, or eat, or sleep. He thought that when he himself became old and went to heaven, she would have to continue standing there, just waiting to decay. Just waiting to decay. To him, it was unthinkable. If he couldn't be bound to her, it would be better to throw himself off a cliff. That's dramatic. If only she was a real woman with blood running through her veins. It went on something like that. Until his prayers reached Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Aphrodite came down to him and told him to kiss his beloved statue. When he gently kissed her, her skin flushed pink, her eyes opened, and she turned into a living woman. A woman as beautiful as the statue had been. So they married and even had children. He kept making even more beautiful sculptures for temples around the world, and they lived. Happily ever after. Huh. I mean, obviously the story is tying in with the budding romance between Takeshi and Sora, and the fact that Sora is not a real-life human being, and as such, I get to make fun of Takeshi when he falls in love with her. But I feel like statue and AI that passes the Turing test is, a little bit different here, right? I don't know. Maybe it's weird either way. Finally finishing her long story, Yu pinched her skirt and curtsied. Coco and the kid applauded her. Hey, that was pretty interesting. Bravo, bravo, bravissima. As for me... Right, happily ever after. Right, happily ever after. I applauded with them. Never knew you knew so much, Yu. I mean, she's a tour guide, right? Presumably it's part of the tour. Maybe not. No, there's statues there, right? That would make sense to be part of the tour. Well, she drew up proudly. I know a little about myth and folklore. She raised her finger in front of her face, looking demure. The story of Pygmalion shows that if you hope and ask and persevere, your wish will come true. Is that what it shows? I mean, I guess. His longing was answered because he put his heart into his sculpture, and then loved her, believing that she would speak to him one day. So that's it. Wow. Okay, this is a little different, but this guy named Rosenthal wrote about something called the Pygmalion effect. She was acting like a professor on a soapbox. It seemed like she was overdoing the whole thing, but her ridiculous expressions were so amusing I got drawn in. It's not quite the same as the placebo effect, but both of them involve believing in something. So they both have to do with our chances of survival. Just because the sushi in the display case is made of plastic doesn't mean the sushi inside is cheap. Whoa. Wow, what does that even mean? Her talk seemed to have been derailed like a nasty train wreck. I had no idea what she meant. But the kid and Coco were a rapt audience. Several minutes later. Wait, they didn't explain what the Pygmalion effect was. Sometime during Yu's long speech, my brain started working again. We all headed up the emergency stairs to the second floor. Shall we all go and see Tsugumi? Yeah, I'd like to know I'd like to know how she's doing. Me too. Let's all go check up on her. Coco's proposal came out of the blue, but everyone agreed and headed upstairs. Takeshi, didn't you already see Tsugumi when she woke up last night? Well, yeah. Being asked forced me to remember the night before. Tsugumi saying I want to die. But then she'd eaten 3 sandwiches. If she would just recover. Wait up, you knew that I'd seen Tsugumi? Yep. I heard from Sora this morning about Tsugumi's condition and your panic running. That midnight emergency staircase dash the kid was talking about, it was Tsugumi, right? Alright, you listen here. A minute ago you were pretending to be a reporter trying to get me to tell you. Why do you ask about something you already know? It's your fault for trying to be so mysterious. You little. I hated to admit it, but she had taken me for a ride. And I had no comeback. So, how do you think Tsugumi's doing? Aren't you worried about her? He's trying to change the subject. Shut up. If you know something, say it already. Well, Lem is always guarding the infirmary's medical computer data. Since Lemma hasn't come to us with any news, it must mean that Tsugumi's sleeping peacefully, right? Well, that's a relief. We reached the infirmary. We should have brought flowers. And where do you think you'll find flowers? I mean, there were, the roses in the little park area, right? Oh, yeah, that's right. Entering first, I mustered a cheerful voice. Hey, Tsugumi. You alive? I had to force them, but I dragged everyone along to see you. Ow! Listen, Takeshi, don't be mean like that. You don't have to push and poke me. Exchanging stupid banter, we approached the bed. I did it on purpose as a joke. You know, joke around, cheer up a little bit. Really? I don't know. Hey! The kid had stopped suddenly. He was pointing at the bed in the back. What's the matter, kid? You discover a new species of something? Tsugumi's gone. What? Who? What? I ran to the bed in shock. Everyone followed right behind me. She's gone. She's really not here. The bed was completely empty. The covers were just the way they had been. The pillow was the same. But the IV tube and the heart monitor had been torn up and scattered around. What the? Why didn't Lemma pick up on this? Lemma was monitoring Tsugumi's data, right you? What happened? I don't know. I have no idea. She averted her eyes from mine. Hey! Look at that! She pointed to the corner of the room. Her finger was trembling a little. The cord was torn off the medical computer and the monitor had been smashed to pieces. Wow. Tsugumi has no chill. Either that or she's been kidnapped, but based on what we know of Tsugumi, no chill seems like entirely plausible. There had been an electrical short, and there was a burning stench around the area. Who could have done this? That's what I'd like to know. What's that? This time Coco had found something. Under the computer console, there were some bandages and a long, skinny case of some sort. A white, hard case. Is this... It's Tsugumi's brace, right? You're right, it's Tsugumi's. Which means... Tsugumi... She took off her own brace and smashed up the computer. She got out of bed, smashed the computer, and then left the room. My thoughts leaped right out of my mouth. It was hard to believe. Really? When I brought her the sandwiches, she still looked like she was in pain in bed. You really think that Tsugumi... Well, what else could it be? Maybe someone ran off with her. Someone, like who? Who's here besides us? It's crazy either way. Yu was shouting. How could Tsugumi even walk on that leg? It was a serious injury. It should take over 2 months to heal. In fact, in her condition, she shouldn't even be able to get out of bed. And it's strange that Lemma didn't respond even if the computer's broken. Even if someone had taken her out of here, the sensor on the ceiling should have picked it up. Saying that, Yu raised her eyes to the ceiling. What in the world? Wait, then... What happened to Tsugumi? Coco barely opened her mouth. Maybe she was spirited away. Oh, please. Tsugumi disappeared? We were all in shock. Everyone kept talking, though. Spirited away? I don't believe that. I don't believe... All the color had drained from Yu's face as she absorbed the enormity of what had happened. She was holding her chest, looking up at the ceiling in a cold sweat. Calm down, Yu. Don't freak out on me. Take deep breaths. She breathed in and out slowly. A little color came back to her face. But the question was what to do about the situation. What to do. Hey, I know. We'll ask Sora. Where is Sora? She ought to know what happened, right? You looked at me with a glimmer of hope. Yeah, you're right. Let's call her. We rushed over to the Lemma terminal on the corner of the room. Standing in front of the console, you began operating the panel. If Lemma hasn't realized it yet, that might mean that Sora doesn't know it yet either. But call her anyway. It's faster to ask her than go on a blind search. You're right. Before long, there was a change in the terminal. Sora's image floated up on the monitor. Yes? Sora, something terrible's happened. Tsugumi's missing. What? Are you sure? I thought something had happened to the monitor in the room, but... Why didn't you tell us? I'm terribly sorry. There's been a terrible jamming and it had delayed me. Jamming? What's that? Electromagnetic interference? How is the room? Is everyone there? Yeah, other than Tsugumi, we're all here. Because actually, my eyes aren't working. Well, how convenient. In fact, that's almost too convenient. It feels planned. Like... either Tsugumi herself or whoever carried her off is almost certainly the same person that's behind the jamming, right? So I wasted time trying to confirm. Don't worry, Sora, we're all right. Can you come right over? Yes, of course, right away. Sora disappeared from the monitor, and instantly she was standing in front of us. Am I standing in the right place? Can you see me all right? Sora looked worried. You're fine. You really can't see? It's getting better, but there's still something wrong. I can tell approximately where you're standing, but not which way you're facing. She was talking to a spot just next to me. Sora, Tsugumi's not in the infirmary. Can you search the other rooms? Let me try. I'll do a bioscan on the entire building. She put her hands on the Lemma terminal and started accessing it right away. Hey, what are you guys talking to? The kid asked us fearfully from over by the bed. We left the infirmary. Sora was bewildered by the sudden sensor trouble. It was taking her a few minutes longer than usual to finish the bioscan. Sora wasn't able to see us, and sometimes we couldn't see her, so... Does that mean the ceiling sensors from the bed over to the elevator are all temporarily broken? Yeah, that's what's affecting Sora. So she left through the emergency corridor. Yeah, but Tsugumi was kind enough to leave candles burning for us. When we found the emergency flares in the elevator, I was completely shocked. She wanted to keep us away that badly? Sorry to keep you waiting. I have the results of the bioscan. After a delay, Sora appeared in the door of the infirmary. And where has Tsugumi hobbled off to? She couldn't have gone far. In any case, we would find her, and when we did, we would figure everything out. An A has gone down to Detroit stock. Tsugumi is slowly moving past the isolated sector. A? Oh, A, the neutral buoyancy elevator. If we call it, A will come to us, right? Yes. Okay, I'll run over there. What? Hold on, Takeshi. You can only enter and exit that sector using A, so if you wait a little... Can't let her be out there. What if her injury gets worse? Why couldn't she just stay in bed? Hey, Takeshi! Takeshi? I left him there and ran out. The buoyancy elevator was right nearby. I pushed the down button and called the elevator. The lamp lit up, letting me know that it was working normally. I sprang in when the double doors opened. The doors shut quickly and it started going down. If she doesn't use A, she can't get up here. Until I get there, she definitely can't leave the sector. Alright, watch out, Tsugumi, because here I come. I cracked my knuckles. She was always acting tough, but I bet she was bawling by now. I figured her leg would be killing her. She'd gone so far that she probably couldn't get back even if she wanted to. Maybe she was regretting it. What I really wanted to do was get in a couple good wisecracks to pay her back for all the hard times she'd given me, but I also felt a little sorry for her. The doors opened. The stale air of the isolated sector on the third floor flowed into my lungs. Next to the elevator I'd ridden in, another elevator was still stopped. An elevator with a hole blasted in it. You couldn't even smell the scent You couldn't even smell the stench of acetone anymore. I walked toward the end of the hallway, marshalling my wits. What's that? I realized that there was a room on the left side of the corridor that I hadn't seen during the power outage. Thinking to explore a little, I set my foot inside. Priorities? A huge whale was stretched out. It said Cosmic Whale on the entrance. Apparently that was the name of this attraction. I couldn't tell from a quick glance exactly what the attraction was. I mean, it's a whale. A whale floating in empty space. The whole scene was surreal. Was there an explanation written somewhere? Wait, I don't have time to waste like this. Yeah, no shit, dude. After making sure that Tsugumi wasn't there, I left through a different door. I quickly reached the generator room. The door said Craftwork. I pushed open the door and stepped inside. The facility was giving off a steady but low hum and seemed to be working fine. For better or for worse, in Lima we didn't have to worry about the electricity. Wait, how could that be for worse? I feel like having access to electricity is just like 100% upside. I looked around, but there was no trace of Tsugumi. Past the generator room, the corridor was completely blocked off by a partition. It was impossible to go beyond it. The only door left was a room on the right. I decided to go in there. The room was full of pipes. There was no sign on the door, but I supposed it would be called something like pressure regulation room or something. I assumed that the pipes must be connected to the boilers and turbines in the generator room. Come to think of it, Tsugumi had done the repairs in there. I remembered her closing a valve right with her tools spread around her. Oh, she was there. Leaning in just like the time before. She didn't have any tools. She wasn't closing off a valve. Instead, craning her neck, she seemed to be looking over at the other side of the pipes. Hey, Tsugumi. And to find out what exactly Tsugumi's deal is, make sure you tune in tomorrow. That's it for me. I will catch you all on the morrow. Peace.